episode. Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce, XXV, Double I,
Rome,
D-Malo,
Bro Flying.
T-Buggy, man.
Just the greatest sports show on the planet. La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say.
welcome to another episode of Gas Presents Sports for the Culture. I am tonight's host, Young Rome 22, on all socials as always. We got a lot to get into, man. So I'm gonna let all the dogs introduce themselves tonight, man. I'm gonna start with the bottom left. Long time no see, man.
Hey, what's up, guys, man? I'm live from my mother's pantry and shit, because that's how you feel right now when you're in the New York-based fan base right now. The fucking Giants can't get right. Fucking, they had to be around the rolling 60s to be like, I can't do this shit no more, to start scoring. And then you got the fucking Yankees. I swear, a black cat of injuries just approached us. It's just like, I just can't wait for baseball season to get over it. And I just can't wait to see this debacle come Thursday night. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a free preview of some bets. Take San Fran and buy a point to cover the 10.5. I put it at 10.5. I guess earlier that the spread came out at 10. Buy a point, make some money. Buy the 10.5. Just in case they make a push like the Rams screwed me over this weekend. Fucking Rams. Field goal with last seconds. I'm sorry, enough about me. But hello, ladies and gentlemen.
All that, and I don't even know if you got his name in there, man. G, it's good to have you back after your little hiatus from last week. We know your Giants got blown out the water, but much like this week, you came back in the second half. So good to see you. And let's kick it to my man on the bottom right.
Hey man, T Boogie, wash your hands, wash your ass. Feet jugs out it. Joe Burrow, send my man some bread. You know what I'm saying? He need that to get bailed out. You stole his Tiger King. You know what I'm saying? So Joe's out looking for that money. So I figured I help his cause a little bit. But yeah, I'm here, man. Good week of football fantasy for your boy. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of bottom dwellers out here, not me. And a good week of real NFL football for your boy. So I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm in a good spot. I'm ready to get it on.
Oh yeah, T in a great spot, taking these strays to Joe Burrow early. I mean, you did say that man would never see another Super Bowl, and that's probably not looking like you're going to see one this year. But before we get into too much of that, last but never least, man, top left.
Bryce, XXV, a.k.a. Mr. Big Leaguer, a.k.a. the Good Mister. And the following message is for the following people. Guy Ferraris, Kittles and Bits, team always finessing. Team on Dwight Clark and them, the Pittsburgh Feelers, Blitzburg, Tellers, Coach Coleman's Commanders, Forever Loading, and Southside Swag. I'm coming for that chip this year, man. Undefeated in the Gas League so far. Feeling real good about my team. It's wild that fresh off a fantasy football loss, T feeling good. I guess when you've been a bottom dweller for so long, a 500 record just makes you feel great.
Bro, you won by less than 10 points and you had your best week of football all year. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get a better week.
Hey, I just get him when it counts, my boy. That's all I do.
Playoffs when it count. I'll be right there.
Right.
Oh, okay. We got a lot of greasy fantasy talk early, man. As y'all can see, we got a lot to talk about with fantasy football. A lot to get into with the NFL, man. Some undefeated teams. And the Nick Chubb injury. But before we get to that, we got to start with what I believe is the biggest story in not just football, but probably all the sports right now. And that's in Colorado with Coach Prime. Coach Prime had it popping this weekend. I'm sure all you fellas saw. But in case you weren't aware, Coach Prime had The Rock out there. He had Lil Wayne introducing the team before the game. This was a huge college football game. And Coach Prime, by all means, has turned Colorado into must-see TV. Look, we talked a lot about this when Coach Prime left Jackson State to go to Colorado. A lot was said then, and I just want to know, does anybody want to retract some of those statements? I believe some of y'all on this panel might have said 3 or 4 wins. It's going to take a couple years. It's looking like it's not going to take a couple years. He's already at 3 wins now. So how are we feeling about Coach Prime, fellas? Jump ball.
3 or 4 wins. It's going to take a couple years.
Yo, so T, what you're saying is they're done winning. They're done winning.
They winning. They done for the rest of the month for sure.
Oh,
How much you
okay.
want to put? How much you want
Don't.
to put? How much you want to put? How much you want to put?
I'll
How much you
put
want to
what
put?
they're not getting
Because
paid.
Oregon, because they see, I think they face Oregon this weekend, right?
Yeah.
And
21-point dogs. 21-point
bro,
dogs, bro.
if you like, if Vegas hate any team right now, it's Colorado, except for last weekend, because last weekend they did not cover the spread, and it was not worth buying the money line. But this weekend, ooh, I'll take that again.
You know,
Oh, what's
perfect storm, man. Oregon is one of them teams that loses a big matchup every year in a game that they're supposed to win. But I don't think it's going to happen this year. Like you said, Coach Prime bring all them celebrities out to the game, and I think it worked against them, right? Because if I'm on the other sideline and you got The Rock, you got Offset, bro, you just turned this state rivalry game into my Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? This is my chance to get some real good tape. And I ain't gonna lie, the only player I remember from that game is the safety. Like, bro put on some tape. Now I don't know if that's the good tape or the bad tape, but he put some tape out there and he made a name for himself. And I think it's some real Heisman hopefuls. Bo Nix, there's some guys that want to go pro over at Oregon that, bro, this is the perfect situation.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, man. It definitely works both ways. The more eyes on the product, the more everybody's going to want to raise their game. So what I'm hearing is that Coach Prime is excellent for the game of college football on all levels. But Bryce, I know you had some hesitation when he first left Jackson State. How you feeling about Coach Prime 3 weeks in?
That's the beautiful thing about gas sports for the culture is we run the tape and sometimes you get embarrassed. All right, this is one of them times. All right, I was a little salty when Coach Prime left Jackson State. I was a little salty over him leaving the
don't say a
HBCU.
little, don't say a little. Be real with
AG,
yourself.
AG, AG, shut your mouth. I was a little salty, man, about Coach Prime leaving Jackson State because I felt like he was leaving the HBCU high and dry, man. You know what I'm saying? But hindsight is indeed 2020. And unlike T, I have recounted my statements. I do not think the Colorado ends with 3 or 4 wins. I think they end with at least 6 or 7. I love what I'm seeing from that team. Explosive offense. The Colorado State game, I do agree with T, man. I think it was a little too much pomp and circumstance before that game. And I think the players lost focus to begin with. But damn, bro, Shedeur Sanders went God mode on that last drive, bro. 98 yards. They asked him what fueled him. He said he just went Brady mode, and that looked like some Brady shit. I ain't gonna hold you. And it's very impressive. Now my question is, because I like the money line, like G said, I like the money line for Colorado just because y'all know I'm an odds better. I can't run from them odds. I'll put $5 on that and try to make me a cool little $30. But the thing about that game is, bro, it's a guaranteed shootout in my opinion, right? The question is Colorado's defense going to be up to the task? I've seen Colorado's defense not be able to stop the run. I've seen Colorado's defense not be able to stop the mesh. I mean, the mesh is one of the most basic plays of all time. And Colorado State ran mesh like it was Madden. Like they just kept running the same play over and over again with no resistance from Colorado. So my thing is, if Colorado don't get that defense in check, bro, it could be a long night versus Oregon. But damn, bro, when number 2 is on your signal caller, I feel like you're gonna have a shot in just about every game this season. So I do think Colorado will compete with Oregon. I do like as an odds better. I do like taking that money line. I feel like 21 points is crazy, bro, for a team that can score the way Colorado can score. To me, Colorado has one of the best trios of receivers I've seen in a long time. I know it's not as high profile as those Alabama teams a couple years ago when it had Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, and Waddle all on the same teams like that. But, bruh, it kind of reminds me of it because it feels like it don't matter which one of them Colorado receivers gets the ball in their hands, they make something happen. I'm a little worried that Travis Hunter's going to be out, that two-way superstar. He got 4 weeks with a lacerated liver. That's tough. But I do like Colorado moving forward, man. I think they're going to win a lot of games. I think they're going to surprise some folks, and it really makes me wish that the playoffs were expanded this year because we might see Colorado sneak into them offs, bro, if it was.
Yeah, I would say a team like Colorado is exactly why they're going to look to expand the playoffs in general. But while we're talking about Colorado, man, let's talk a little bit about that hit on Travis Hunter, because that's been making the news rounds. The hit by Henry Blackburn, the safety on Colorado State. Let's start with the on the field part of it because there's a little bit of off the field I want to get to too. But I want to get y'all's instant reaction when you saw the hit. Did you think that that was a fair play or dirty play? Just football. What was your initial thoughts? I'll start with T.
It was cheap, but it was the type of tone setting play that you come to expect in a rivalry game. I mean, this is football. This ain't no powder puff sport, bro. This is man on man out there. You know what I'm saying? And that's you got a chance to take a hit at their best player. You know what I'm saying? And he took it. And I don't think I ain't hear anything about afterwards, but I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have took that back. And if you watch the whole game, he wasn't the only one trying to like throw in some extra juice. You know what I'm saying? Like Colorado State came to play, but for the hit itself, bro, it wasn't so dirty that I think he needs to be out of the league. But I in the league, you probably get a penalty for that, in a fine. But
Yeah, I think it goes to what you were saying earlier. All the eyes on it. Guys want to make plays, and that could lead to something like that. Bryce, what was your initial thoughts on the hit?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, in real time, it was dirty because Travis Hunter was done making any sort of football movement when he got hit. Right? He pulled up lame when he got hit. He was running full speed, and he pulled up. I feel like the defender had time to see him pull up and still decided to make the hit with the ball way out of bounds. Definitely dirty, but not something that you shouldn't be expecting from football. You know what I'm saying? I think the unfortunate part was it just didn't seem like Travis Hunter even recognized the defender coming in like that. So he wasn't able to brace for it at all. I think that's the biggest issue. Not the worst hit I've seen him. Not the dirtiest thing I've ever seen in football. You know what I mean? But dirty nonetheless. Definitely a dirty play. And if you watch the way that Colorado State played that whole game, kind of seemed like the coach put a bug in the ear that like we want to hurt one of these guys or we want to bring the pain or something like that. Like you could get that vibe from them all game. They had a player get ejected later in the game for a hit on Shador Sanders. There was a few late hits, a few roughing the passers. Like it happened throughout the game. So dirty, yes. Egregious. I don't know. I think the internet might have overhyped it just a tad bit. But that's what happens with the internet, man. That's what it's there for, bro.
Yeah, you mentioned it. There was a lot of penalties in that game. I believe it was like 16 or 17 in total. So it was definitely a chippy game. And you also mentioned the injury, a lacerated spleen, was it?
I think it was
Liver.
Liver. Yes. You never want to play with organs and stuff inside the body, especially with a laceration. That could end up being fatal. So I think the actual injury itself probably added a little juice to the hit. But G, I seen you shaking your head though, man. You think this hit was a fair hit?
Yeah, y'all a bunch of soft players, man. Y'all sound like a bunch of NFL coaches. Man, you can't hit nobody no more. Y'all sound real soft. That was listen. He did an NFL play. He not an NFL. He did a football play. We all seen it from high school all the way up to the pros. A late hit. Now, now, now the laceration. No one seen that shit coming. On top of that, man, look at the media. I know y'all see ESPN, Fox News, every media site talking, bigging up Colorado. If anything, I want to champ up Colorado State right now because they came out and gave us a fucking game, and no one is talking about that. Them boys lost, but them boys did not bend. They went out there and showed pride. Most players coming out of any small schools would have let Colorado just beat them out the stadium. It should have been the blowout that we all thought it was going to be. Because I believe that spread going into that game was at 27 and a half. And I thought that because I thought the Colorado was going to blow them out the park. And look, they gave us a double overtime game on top of that. No, and that play wasn't a dirty play. It was a football move. You had to let the rest of them other boys know we ain't coming over here just to let you guys walk all over us. Yeah, you guys all got them all the celebrities out there, but we trying to show you guys what type of time we running on too. So if anything, Colorado State, Thank you for bringing back that. It made me feel like I was watching Miami football back in the old 90s, early 2000s, where them boys was smacking anything and anything coming out them four lines. If anything, man,
So
it was a regular football play. It was just a late football hit. Had to let the rest of them boys know from the other team, like, yo, listen, man, we ain't about to bend or fold just because you fuckers is coming up. Just because you fuckers is that prime time show right now.
no, I hear you, G. I definitely hear you because it the thing with football is it's a sport where you can kind of take those shots and you can kind of do those
It's
things,
a gladiator
but
sports. Since when
but
the fuck we playing basketball?
you can do that within the confines of the game. It was kind of like
And
Bryce,
that
how
was the
Bryce,
confine of the game.
but
My man just a
how
little
Bryce.
weak body. That's all it is. Ain't nothing wrong with
Nah,
that.
it's how Bryce alluded to it. The receiver had already pulled up. The play was
So
essentially
what's
already
worse,
over.
that or the Nick Chubb hit? Because that
That
was below the knee.
that the
And
Nick
look what
Chubb hit
happened
is
in
the Nick Chubb hit is a tackle inbounds. Like
Nah,
is
but that's below the knee where you shouldn't have. Nick Chubb should have never been hit there.
if you nah he should have definitely been hit there. That's just the
Nah, but
game.
you see,
If you look
now it's
if
just that the game.
yeah
Now it's
because
just the
the
game. Now,
what
come on now,
what play got flagged and what play didn't. Like Travis Hunter play
bruh.
was over. Like there's a way to
It's
lay the
a
wood
regular late football hit, son.
to
I
make
get
the
it. Y'all bunch of
statement.
dads here. Y'all don't want y'all kids getting hurt. Nah, son, you're playing football. You knew what you walked. When the moment your parents signed your permission slip for you to play, for you to even get on the field, y'all knew what y'all was walking to. Y'all
Gee,
knew y'all was
it's
talking
like you're
wild,
saying though.
spicy.
It's a
It's like
gladiator
you took.
sport. So you hit my
So
guy
now,
after the play is over, then we're going to war now. So now we're crossing
exactly. So
lines.
you had to let it be known. This ain't no Powerpuff game. We out here, and that's what Colorado State did. If anything, I big them up for that. They showed me an actual football game that I haven't seen in a minute.
Do it before the whistle blows.
Nah, fuck all that shit. Do it whenever the fuck it comes
Do it
around.
before the whistle
Them boys
blows.
was talking wild, spicy. All of a sudden, now you can't take the heat. Oh my god, he hit him. Even your man said it on his podcast. It was just a regular football hit. Now all of a sudden, we're supposed to like not. Come on now, that bunch of soft men.
Nah, it happens in football,
Listen,
G.
I'm
But
about to say y'all brought up Tabasco sauce because I guess this is the most heat
what
y'all
you're
ever had in your life right now. I
what
don't
you're
know
missing
what's going on.
is it's a dirty football play. It's a play that we've
It's
seen, but
not a
you're
dirty
crossing the
football
line.
play. Man, it's because y'all like these
Hey,
guys. That's why y'all saying it's dirty. It's not a dirty play. It's
hey, he
not a dirty
obviously
play.
he obviously crossed some type of
Wait,
line
wait, hold on,
because
hold on, hold on, hold
if
on, hold on. Hey, hold on, Rome. I got a question, G. If it's not because the opposite of dirty play is clean play. So what you're telling me is a clean play, G?
It's a clean lay and it's a
Come
clean
on,
play
Brian.
hit.
It's not.
It's a
That's a
clean lay
clean hit.
hit. It's a
that's
clean lay
crazy.
hit. My
That's
man
crazy.
had
It
to
was
let him
clearly
know,
a
like, yo,
penalty.
we ain't
That's an
soft. My
oxymoron,
man,
bro. A
listen,
clean late
it
hit.
is what it is. It is what it is. Listen, my man had to let them know, like, yo, we ain't soft. And what's the best time to do it? To one of the best players that they had on their team. And he had to let
Okay,
the
and
rest of them know, like, oh
G,
shit.
this is the problem with that line of thinking. Is now Blackburn and his whole family are receiving death threats. Somebody's leaked their
See,
address.
now
The
that
people
now that
are taking it
no, that's
way
another way
too
of thinking.
far.
Now that's a gruesome way of thinking. No, that's another way of doing some now that's some off the wall shit, off the field shit. Now what
Okay,
I'm
but
talking
that's
about
what happens
is
when you
on the
make
field
hits
shit.
after the
No, that's what
play.
happens
People
when
take
you
it too
guys
far.
like a team way too much that all of a sudden my man gets a boo boo. Oh my god, he tried to kill him. Bro, is this a paper cut? I ain't saying the lacerated
They
liver
would
is a
call the
paper
last
cut,
minute liver a
but
paper cut. Some wild
it
shit.
is what
Yo,
it is. It is what it is.
yo.
Y'all put the soft
Some
dudes. I
wild.
don't know what's wrong with y'all, man. I bet if y'all tripping before y'all going to the ER right now. Oh, mommy, it's a cut. Y'all don't need to put no peroxide and slap it and be out. Y'all need a whole ER to take a little paper cut. That's what y'all telling me. Y'all bunch of soft dudes. Fuck is going on here? You got my man wearing pink, too much pink. My man up there before the start of the show brushing his hair, his chin hair, like, oh my god, I'm trying to get it pretty. What's going on here, man? I miss you guys for 2 weeks. This is where I get back. Fuck is going on?
Bro. It was to me. It was just a late hit. Like it was definitely dirty. It was on.
So it wasn't dirty. You see, it wasn't dirty,
It was
man.
dirty,
Come on
but
now.
also before the
What is
game,
dirty in football then? Like, what the...
Prime is telling his guys, right? that this game is personal. Like he's talking, they're yelling personal. It's personal. So like, bro, the other team also took it personal. So that, bro, all that talking on the internet and all that giving little speeches and the cameras, that's fuel for other teams. I really think Oregon is looking to come in and be like the same way Colorado State did. These boys don't belong in the same field as us. But I think what people are underestimating is Colorado's skill guys look like they could be a top 10 group in the country, if not top 5.
Yes. Offensively, defensively is an if.
Yeah, I mean,
iffy.
Offensively.
But yo, defensively, all they need is a couple splash plays a game, bro. And they got him in that last game.
Nobody played defense in college. If you really want to talk about
You're right.
There's a couple teams that got a couple dogs, but at the end of the day, college football come down to who's gonna score the ball.
Facts.
And surprised me. They've been able to score the ball. That little running back, I don't like him at the next level, but in college, bro, if he gets some space, he can make something happen.
He remind me Clyde Edwards.
Yeah.
He got that little Clyde Edwards there type of vibe. Small.
All the receivers look like they could be in the league. Like, I don't know if they be
all 4 of them, bro.
I don't know if they be NFL stars, day one starters, but they all look like they could probably make a roster. So they'll be in games. What I want to see is what happens when they get behind 2 scores. When they get behind 10 points and turnover on downs, they got to punt. Now what happens? You know, I want to see some adversity, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think Colorado loses that game. I think they get blown out, and I think Deion gives an amazing speech about adversity and gets blown out again by Caleb Williams.
Pause. Whole lot of pause in this conversation.
That's crazy. T is the biggest Coach Prime hater. I wish y'all could see the group chat though when he's sending buffalo emojis, which he will probably be doing when they pull off one of these unbelievable upsets.
Bro, I'm a Prime fan, bro. Big B's, bro. Big Buffaloes. Like, what are you talking
Bro,
about?
you said this man is going to win 3 or 4 games, and then you double down tonight, which is mind-blowing because if we're being honest, this is not hyperbole. We're witnessing one of the greatest, if not greatest, turnarounds by a coach in college football history.
This man left a black school high and dry, and you telling me about how he turned around this white town, this white community. Bro,
shit. Bruh, he didn't leave the black school high and dry. That's crazy to say that he left them high and dry.
He did leave them high and dry.
High and dry. So what is Jackson State doing right now?
The Rock ain't there.
Bruh, he took every player they had and all the good players.
Okay, y'all completely avoided the question. What is Jackson State doing right now?
I think
how they look.
They lost week 1. I'm pretty sure they lost week 1 to.
They won week 1.
They won week 1.
I'm pretty sure.
I thought they was undefeated.
I don't know what they did last week. Yeah, I thought they were undefeated too, but I know they won week 1.
That's no thanks.
Wait, hold on. Pause real
Jackson
quick.
State lost 77-34 last game, man.
But like, come on now.
Week one, they lost to Florida A&M. Yeah, bro. Week 1, they lost 28-10 to Florida A&M. Maybe that was week 2.
I thought they were winning games.
But they 2-2.
Okay.
But nah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, they're 2-2. But their last game was 77-34, man.
So y'all are saying that like everything that happened to Jackson State is just erased because he went to Colorado. Like,
don't say y'all. Don't say y'all.
It's not that, bro.
Say the 2 Powerpuff Girls right here.
He sold a dream to Jackson State, bro, and he was talking that good talk, like he was bringing HBCUs back. He talked like he wasn't going nowhere. And the interesting thing about all of this is he's been talking that same talk in Colorado. Because they asked him, I seen the interview. They asked him like, "You ever gonna go to the league?" I would never do that. You going anywhere else? I would never do that. It's real similar, bro. So if he ends up leaving Colorado, guess what? The same way I was upset about Jackson State, boy, them Colorado fans gonna be coming to Deion's neck. Just wait for it, and they're gonna be way more vicious than I was. All right, I promise you.
Yeah, it was crazy. Is the only reason people are upset when he leaves is because of his impact when he's there, and I just feel like the shade. The shade is unnecessary. Just enjoy it for what it is. Look what he did for Jackson State. Look what he parlayed that into this movement at Colorado. And look what it's doing for all the players and for college football in general. We've never had a 25-minute open on college football on this show until Coach Prime went to Colorado.
I feel
Those are
like
just
it's
the
prime.
facts.
I feel like if Prime stayed at Jackson State for maybe 5 more years, Jackson State might have became Colorado, bro. That's
Five,
what I wanted to see. I
five
Fuck
wanted
more
to see
years.
no.
Jackson State
Five more
Fuck
years.
become.
no.
No, I mean it would
Bro,
have took a little
fuck
longer,
no.
but I'm just saying, like, that's what I wanted to see, bro. I wanted to see a HBCU become relevant in the mainstream college football talk, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I wanted to see, bro. And I thought Coach Prime could have done that if anybody. And I think that's why people
That's
like
gonna
him
take
so
that's
soft.
gonna take more than Coach Prime. I get that. I get
Yes.
I
that.
don't know,
But
bro.
that's
I
gonna
think he was
take
on a
more
trajectory.
than Coach Prime though.
I think he was
I
on the
think
way, bro.
he
He had Travis
definitely
Hunter, top recruit. Shador Sanders was like, yo, I think it
he
was on the way to that, bro.
he definitely started that. But this is the thing, and this is a point I want to make to UNT. Like Shador and Travis, they weren't getting the love that they're getting now when they were playing on Jackson State. And that's not a Coach Prime issue. That's the rest of the scouts and the rest of the world saying that, oh, okay, yeah, they're good, but look who they're playing. Now that they're in Colorado and they're playing quote unquote better talent, everyone wants to give them their props. So that's not something that Coach Prime can necessarily change just by himself. He can recognize their talent, he can big up them, he can tell you how great they are. But if everyone else is going to say, well, yeah, look who they're playing, then that's kind of on the rest of the world to start viewing it differently.
I don't disagree
Um,
with that. But the rest of the world's never going to view it differently if, an HBCU doesn't emerge as a college football powerhouse. And I felt like Coach Prime had enough to make that happen, bro. And
No, he didn't.
now
well,
people
No,
like
the
we'll
fuck he
me,
never.
didn't.
hold on, look, now
Cap,
people like me are looking at it
cap,
like it'll never
cap.
happen. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the one
But it was
chance.
never going to happen.
Yeah, that was
No,
that's kind of how
I
I
don't
saw it.
believe that, bro. I don't
That's
believe that. I
cap.
don't
No,
believe that, bro. I don't
That's
believe that.
cap.
Now it looks like it may never happen. Or maybe another coach along the lines able to make it happen and is really
no,
dedicated to the HBCU cause. But that was the closest thing that looked like it could have happened.
No offense, but what HBCU is going to be spending millions upon millions on a football program? When you got LSU and Alabama,
I
all
think
these
you're missing it
teams,
though, bro. Like
all these power ranked teams, where they spend millions upon millions on just the facilities.
that's
A
why Coach
BCA,
Prime was the equalizer, bro, because he didn't
no,
have
he
to spend
wasn't.
millions
Because
upon
even
millions
if that's
to
the
get
case,
top
bro,
prospects.
these nah, bro. They was look what you just said right now. Look what Rum just said. No one was still giving these guys their props when they were playing these schools, these BCSU schools. No one was giving these guys their props. Not until they started going to Colorado.
bro. Yeah, I mean,
Nah,
y'all
that's
talking
false
about
though. People was giving them props. Travis Hunter was going to the league either way, bro.
y'all talking
People
about
from
Trevor.
Jackson State got drafted because of
Yeah,
Coach Prime.
but he was gonna
Hold on,
go to the
let
league.
T
He
jump
was
in
gonna
because
be like a six
I
or
got a
eight round
question.
pick. Compared to now, he's looking like a second and third round pick.
I look, y'all talking about Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders, and I get it, right? You needed to make the hop for them immediately. I think what me and Bryce are talking about is the culture, which is something that sometimes the people at the forefront they don't get to reap the benefits. You know what I'm saying? They are the catalyst, and being the catalyst, you don't always get that opportunity to reap the benefits. You'll go down in history, but you might not see the same rewards that the kid in 8th grade that you built the pathway for him to take. You know what I'm saying? He might at his Hall of Fame speech say, I want to thank Travis Hunter, Coach Prime, and Shador. Not anymore.
Yeah,
Not
which I see what you're saying, T, but like that's kind of my point is you're asking Coach Prime to be that, and you know what I mean, like nobody has to be that. You
he
know what I'm
told
saying? Like,
me that. I didn't ask him to do anything.
oh well, I mean, you definitely shouldn't believe the man.
Well, that's what we saying, bro. I guess we just should never believe. We should never believe the man, and
No, you
that's the
should
problem,
not
bro.
when it's outside of football.
And when you dedicate yourself to an HBCU, and now I shouldn't believe the man. This is what happens to my people far too often. All right, we
Oh,
get
Yeah,
promises in life.
you shouldn't
We still waiting on
you
our
should
40 acres
never
and a mule. All right,
you should never look at somebody as the savior of the culture for
bro,
sure.
think
but
about
bruh, that's the problem. There has to be. He could have been not the savior of HBCUs, but he could have been the one to really put an HBCU on the map as far as the major powerhouse college landscape. And that would have forever changed the trajectory of college football, bro. And now I feel like, all right, you in Colorado, you winning games, but you ain't about to really change like the landscape doing that. It's just you were just another
I don't
you had
know.
another power school
Bro,
at another big
for
school.
that to happen,
I
it would
feel
have to
like the
be more
landscape is still
HBCU
shifting.
schools, not just him. It would have to been more good schools. It couldn't just
bro.
been one good school
Well,
coming out from those kinds of programs.
that's what happens over time, right? Big conferences become better because the talent is there. I would have had the chance to play against Travis Hunter and Shador. Now, there's no way I'm going to HBCU. But besides that, bro took these same exact kids and are playing them against white kids, and people are saying, "Oh yeah, they're good now." Bro, what do you mean?
Okay, but that's what I'm saying, T. That's not Coach Prime's fault that the scouts look at it that way.
All right,
Like Shadir was great at JSU, right? Same talent, but and this is going to be my question: has his draft stock risen since he's gone to Colorado? Like
Yes.
where are we comparing him to now that he's at Colorado
You
in
see,
the in
that's the
the in the
part. That's
upcoming
the part
draft?
we're not arguing that part, bro. Shador Sanders' draft stock has absolutely increased, bro. Nobody debating that. What we're saying is, if Coach Prime stays at
T
a
just said
Jackson
it.
State for 5 more years, bro, and puts them on the map as a like, okay, how about this, bro? This how I can compare it. Think of a college basketball program like Gonzaga that before Mark Few, nobody really gave a damn about, right? Mark Few gets there, he starts getting big time prospects. Next thing you know, Chet Holmgren goes there. Next thing you know, Jalen Suggs goes there. Now they're getting the big time prospects. Now they're in the NCAA tournament Final Four every single season. And HBCU had the chance to have that type of trajectory in football, bro. And
What conference is Gonzaga in?
in my opinion, Coach Prime was selling that dream. And then he
But
was
what
like, wait,
conference
hold
is
up, we
Gonzaga
out.
in?
They're in I don't even the whack, bro. So let's like it's
they play St. Mary's or something like they don't got
right, bro. So it don't matter who you playing as much as it matters is when you break through. And I really felt like Coach Prime was about to change the trajectory of college football. It's okay, bro. I'm not mad at him no more. You know what I'm saying? At first I was a little salty,
Nah.
but shout out to him still, bro. Shout out to him. He just
Are y'all
didn't do what I
telling me?
thought he had a chance to.
Are y'all telling me it didn't look crazy to see like Offset, The Rock, and a host of other celebrities, and every time Colorado did something good, they turned the camera to the fans, and nobody looked like me.
Right.
Nah.
That's wild, bro. That's kind of wild when you put it like that, bro.
I mean, no, I'm dead serious, bro. It didn't look like I don't want to call it shucking and driving, but maybe prize fighting. Like we got all these black boys, they're gonna go out here and they're gonna win us some games. That's how it looked to me.
I
Maybe
mean,
No, I
I
can't
you
say
can
that. I
I can
can't
make
say
the
that.
case. I can make the case that that's every NBA and NFL game in a predominantly white city.
no, you cannot.
Yeah, I can. I absolutely can make
Every
that case.
NBA game.
I've gone
Okay, but
to
you know what? That's not the
plenty
case
Commanders
at
games
Jackson
and
State.
seen.
At Jackson State, it's not the case. All right.
Okay,
And Prime had a
that's
shot.
fair.
Prime
It's
had a
not the
chance to
case
put
at
them on
Jackson
them.
State.
Prime had a chance to make it Jackson State, bro,
Not
in that big conversation.
not only did he turn, is he trying to turn Colorado? Like, first of all, we've already seen this, right? We've already seen the youth. We know what it looks like when a bunch of black players with swag go to a town and turn up. Like we've seen this before. We might not haven't seen it in the mountains, but we've seen this story before. The celebrities, the dancing, the touchdowns, everybody turned up. Like we've seen this before. So he's not exactly forging a new path in college sports. All he's
You
trying to
see
do,
in USC.
I wouldn't call it. You talking about the Reggie Bush era?
Yup,
T,
yup, yup,
I disagree
yup,
again. I
yup.
disagree again.
You seen it in Texas
He
with
is
Vince
doing something
Young?
different that we haven't seen. We've seen it from the players, yeah, sure, but we've never seen a coach with that kind of swag. We've never seen a coach get out in front of the cameras and talk how Dion talks, wear his hat with his sunglasses in his interviews. We that's what's different. That's what is I think is ruffling more feathers. It's not necessarily the players.
You know why you don't see coaches do it? Because most coaches, and Dion hasn't been a coach for a long time, most coaches understand that, bro, that only carries the team so far. Like that right there, when your team starts losing, that loses all effect. All that hyped up, yada yada. After 3 losses in a row, 2 losses in a row, people receive that differently. Most coaches realize, bro, you gotta motivate teams realistically, not we superstars, yada yada. Like I'm just giving you a fair warning. That's why I said I want to see.
So you're saying that he's just building them up like we're superstars, we're partying, we got cool new sunglasses that came out and all this kind of thing. You don't think he's connected with these players? You don't think he
So
has like a real coach player relationship to where he's really building these young men up?
I got a teenager. You can connect with them today, and they could be mad at you tomorrow. Like they're kids. At the end of the day, they're kids. So you can connect all you want. You got those kids got to go out there and make plays and do that against teams that you gave all this bulletin board material. And like I said, most coaches realize. So this, like to me, if I'm a coach, I'm looking at this like an NBA player looking at Hot Sauce and the Professor. Like y'all selling out tours and y'all doing a bunch of tricks, but this ain't real coaching. This ain't real basketball. So I think that's how the coach. Why you think these bro? What? Why would Colorado State coach have an issue with Dion? It's because bro, like you should be humble. Like this is not a spot you get up here and do all these theatrics. You haven't seen it before because it doesn't work. But that's just my opinion. We'll see it play out. But that's just my opinion. Your coach cannot sell you to a win, right? You can motivate, but that ain't help, bro. Like Bryce said, all that yelling and screaming and motivating in the speeches, niggas couldn't stop a standard passing route.
That mesh was eating them up, boy.
Bro, how many times they gonna cross underneath?
Well, look, he's motivated them to 3 wins so far, which is what you had him maxed out at last season. So we'll see how this season ends. I'm sure we'll revisit Colorado and Coach Prime here in the near future. But let's keep it pushing, man. Before we jump into the NFL, let's talk a little fantasy talk, man. I know y'all boys were hype, poking out your chest, talking about your little fantasy victories. It's still very early in the fantasy season. So I hope we got this same energy come playoff time. But let's start with the Gas Fantasy League. Bryce, I know you're undefeated in fantasy football.
Say it again. What am I, bro?
You're undefeated, but I say that to follow up with the fact that you play me in gas this week. So enjoy it while it lasts.
And don't forget, I am on my way to running back my championship in the pick'em as well. I'm about to repeat that. It might be a 3. I gotta check on that.
You definitely not repeating in the pick'em.
I'm just saying, I'm number 1 early, pole position. Pause.
Pick'em.
That shit don't count because I'm still not there playing with you bums.
Well, you don't check email. You don't check emails, all right?
Man, you never invite me, man. Fuck all that shit, man. It's because I'm too black. I get it. I feel ya. I'm the blackest one here, man. That's crazy.
I feel like you were in it. I thought we were and didn't make a pick, G.
I feel like we were brothers in solidarity. Y'all just kicked me out, man. That's crazy.
I feel like you were in.
I get it, man. I get it, man. I'm not light skinned enough like the 3 of you guys, man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Nah, you don't check emails, buddy.
Man, what the fuck is the email, man?
Hey, so anybody got any good waiver advice? Nick Chubb just went down. I saw the Browns were looking at Kareem Hunt, so he might be back.
No, you better get Jerome Ford and stop playing them games, boy.
They're gonna play Ford.
Kareem Hunt.
Nah, yeah, Ford is gonna be a hot waiver pickup, I'm sure.
Bro, I mean,
if you could trade right now for Brian Robinson right now, he's somebody you could try to if you're hurting and running back, you could try to make a trade for him.
Oh, you like an old Brian Robinson, huh, G?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
You watching close.
What about your boy backing up Saquon though? Breida.
I wouldn't take that just for the simple fact they're about to go against the 49ers, and that's going to be a tough running defense to go against. I'll stay away from Breida. I mean, I'll like it if it's PR, but if it's not a PPR league, I'll stay away from Breida. I wouldn't waste a waiver wire pick for Breida right now.
Nah, I hear that. I hear that.
The waivers, man, get a receiver. Get Josh Reynolds. You can try Marvin Jones. Like, fantasy has totally shifted from what it was when I first started to what it was you needed running backs to win. Now, man, you need receivers. If you don't got guys that's getting 7 targets a game, it's gonna be tough for you, man. It's
I
gonna be.
mean, I don't know because I would have said try to corner the market with running backs. Like if you were a crazy ass dude, pick running backs your first 3 options, and you could have landed someone with Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Joe Mixon, and then spun around again for another running back. Let's say Brian Brian Robinson, right? I believe he was one of those kind of guys that was getting picked up between the 7th to 8th round, maybe the 6th to 8th round, because people were sleeping on him. And then now you got yourself a decent staple. Well, then you could come back around and spin for a receiver, and now you corner the market and running back. Now, in the case like you picked up Saquon Barkley, you stacked on running back that you could plug in Brian Robinson.
Bro, if you went running back, you're probably losing. You're probably 0. Unless
I went running back in the gas league, and I'm 2-0. All right.
no.
I'm
But
telling
the
you,
gas league is
if you,
different because it's such a deep league. When you got this is the thing, bro, and this is what I've said before on the show, but you always got to be cognizant of your league rules, man. That's the thing that I think people miss out on the most, especially if you're in 3 or 4 fantasy leagues. You know, you draft and you can't draft the same in all 3 or 4 leagues. You got to truly understand the rules and regulations of each league that you're in, right? So we're in the gas league where it's like 14 people, bro. If you don't get you a running back early,
Yeah.
you should out of luck in that league. You know what I'm saying? You better grab you a running back, and you better make sure your quarterback is solid too. But if you're in a league that's, standard 10, 12-member league, all right, maybe you want to go receiver first. I've always been on the side of getting a receiver. I'm also the type of guy that I get my quarterback relatively early as well. But I've won in a lot of different fashions of fantasy football. So obviously you got to play the board too. But know your league rules, man. I'm seeing too many people not know their league rules. And one more thing I say, early in the year, bro, capitalize on big names when it comes to the trade market, yo. If you see some players that you know are emerging, bro, and you got a name, like there's names out there like that you can kind of see which way it's going. Like, for example, if you got Mahomes, right, and you were able to draft a good backup quarterback, let's say you were able to get Kirk Cousins late, so you got 2 good quarterbacks, bro. Your ass you might want to start thinking about shopping Mahomes right now.
Yeah.
Shop that big name around and flip that into some skill position talent. That's the type of move that wins you a league. Like, hey,
Well,
those guys that took Jonathan Taylor in the 6th, 7th round, you about to be real happy in a couple weeks. I'm trying to tell you, you about to be looking like that dude in a couple weeks for taking Jonathan Taylor in the 6th round when everybody else was neglecting him.
man,
Moves like that would change the team.
6th round. Hopefully you can go 6 weeks and play some 500 ball before that. But bro, the problem with the quarterbacks is they're like from week to week, the top 10 changes so much. You know what I'm saying? The top 10 fantasy guys from week to week at that quarterback spot. There's a few constants, but like other than that, Daniel Jones might randomly have a week. Dak might randomly have a week. Like that just rotates. Mahomes might be off. So yeah, I'm just saying though. It's like I got Kirk Cousins and Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson looks like he'll finish high. He can stay active. You know what I'm saying? He can stay healthy, which I told you guys. But I'm trying to flip it. I'm looking around at teams. Everybody has a quarterback that I don't think that they would get rid of just yet. You got to wait for some of these teams to get desperate. So I do like Bryce's advice, but you might want to wait another week or two. Wait till when guys in that 0-4, 1-3, they start acting on the trade.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's another thing I gotta say, man. Is like, yo, I had an overreaction in one of my money leagues, bro. And you can't overreact to your team after week 1, week 2. Like, basically, what I did was I had Drake London, right, and I was high on Drake London coming into the season. Week 1, he had a goose egg.
One
bro.
target.
Week 1, he had a goose egg. So you know what I did, bro? I started Zay Flowers, who I liked and who showed me something week 1. I started Zay Flowers over Drake London in week 2, bro, and I lost by 2 points. But like, I didn't stick with my starting lineup that I originally planned for the season after just
That's
1
like
week
T.
in one
Higgins.
league. Right, and I paid for it, bro. I only lost by 2 points. If I would have just kept Drake London in, easy win. I'm undefeated still, and that's you can't. So you're right. You can't overreact too early. But with some of these players, bro, especially if you were smart enough to grab 2 quarterbacks, this is your best time to flip a name, bro. This is your best time to flip a name for something consistent. So,
low buys. Let's talk about some low buys, fellas. Josh Jacob, easy low buy right now. I think he's 8 and 9, and those are PPR points. Josh Jacob is a low buy running back, especially if you're hitting that running back. You might want to go around there. You got a couple low buys. Terry McLaurin. People are sleeping on him. You need a receiver. Go get yourself Terry. You don't even have to worry about it.
I don't know, man. Some of these teams are looking like they receiver by committee now. It's getting crazy.
Nah, yeah.
Word. How about the guys from the Rams? Those 2 young studs that they got going on there.
Yeah,
I can't pronounce both of their names.
Nakua look legit. I ain't gonna hold you.
No, he's going to get the ball. Stafford trusts him. I mean, they threw 55 times against the 49ers. PPR league, he's going to be a monster.
Well, he's only going to be a monster until Cooper Kupp gets back. So all they did was just slot him in to the Cooper Kupp role. And I remember like a year ago, right, when Cooper Kupp got hurt, maybe a year, was it last year? Yeah, when Cooper Kupp got hurt early last year, right? For the first couple weeks, they put that dude Ben Skowronek in that same role. And he was eating for like 2 weeks, and then Cooper Kupp came back, and Skowronek kind of became an afterthought. So I like Nakua for now, but that's the type of player like a Nakua, bro. If you was able to pick him up in off the waiver wire, flip that man while he's a name, bro. Like flip these names while you can. Nakua, people loving him. They think he's the best thing since sliced bread. Bet. Trade him for Keenan Allen. Go try to get you Keenan Allen. Go try to get you Deebo Samuel. Go try to get you a guy that's proven it year after year after year, who is a guaranteed bucket instead of trying to rely on Nakua for a whole season. Because I'm telling you, bro, once Cooper get back, Nakua's on the back burner, bro.
I think that guy is going to play in an offense that gets a lot of garbage points, a lot of garbage fantasy points. They're going to be down a lot of games, and he's going to catch so many 3rd down, 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 5s. Even when Kupp comes back.
Not when Kupp comes back, bro. He's literally playing Kupp's position, bro. He's literally eating like that because he's playing that, and he's playing the mesh crosser right now. All right, he's playing that mesh crosser route that Cooper Kupp plays for the Rams, bro. So as soon as Kupp gets back, I'm telling you, Nakua's on the back burner. And if you got him, great pickup. Trade him for Keenan Allen. Maybe try to finesse a Mike Evans. Try to finesse a Terry McLaurin, like G said. Finesse one of these guys who's a guaranteed bucket, bro.
Fellas, let's not talk about stayaways neither. Sanders. Stay away from Sanders. That Carolina offense is fucking god-awful. God-awful.
Yeah. Another thing I would try to do is flip these guys that have been injury risk, bro. DeAndre Swift, fresh off 175 yards. Bro, if I had DeAndre Swift, I would be trying to flip him so fast while I could, boy. Hey, look, the man been hurt. He's proven he's an injury liability. I love his talent when healthy, right? But if you GMing from a smart standpoint, bro, this man might get hurt again. Right now he's hot. Flip him while he's hot like a pancake, my boy.
What's the boy from the Eagles? The running backs. I know
Swift.
That's Swift. Oh, that's another one. Stay away from Swift. Because I think Gainwell is going to be the guy that controls that running back.
I think they split from here on out. I can't imagine you take what you seen from Swift and you say we're going back to Gainwell full time, but we'll see.
Yeah, you never know. It's Philly. That's literally running back by committee. They live by that.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is probably going to eat up a lot of carries in Philly too. But
who's another one? My bad. I didn't want to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Devontae Smith. He is the number one guy for Philly. If you could trade for him. Devontae Smith is the guy that you want to have. It's not AJ Brown. I don't know if you guys talked about it last week or this week, but that's another guy you guys want to go after. Oh man, I know I'm not playing fantasy this year, but it's just I've been gambling. I'm with everything.
He has been banging the door for Smith as the number one receiver in Philly for a while. I want to say since last season.
Not
He
just
really is.
Devontae Smith is a top 5 receiving talent in the NFL. I'm just leave
He,
that out.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna hold you to that. If anything, I think he's one of those kind of guys you gotta. If you're gonna gamble this weekend, guaranteed touchdown. Cause he's going up the middle. He is killing everybody up the middle. Against the Vikings, that was his number one play. Going up the middle. Not up the middle. I mean, one of those slant receivers type shit. But the man is just running. He's running crazy. I know he's my kind of guy. Guaranteed touchdown.
Bro, you see AJ Brown out there crying for the ball. You don't see Devontae Smith out there crying for the ball.
Well, he's the one eating right now. AJ, and I
Yes,
think
sir.
AJ definitely peeped what you've been saying, T, because I feel like a lot of that was he sees Smith's talent and he's like, nah, y'all not about to forget about me right quick.
AJ Brown really reminds me of Debo a lot, and they're really talented guys, but they're not separation artists.
Yeah, no, I
They
know exactly what you mean.
yards after catch, and they make tough contested catches. So they want the ball, even if they didn't get the separation. They still want you to give them the shot, but that's really hard to do when you got a Ayuk or a Devontae Smith literally running past
Who
their
are open. Yeah.
head. As a quarterback, that's bro. I'm throwing to the guy I see open, but
It's tough though, because I've seen Hurts throw a lot of jump balls to AJ Brown where he comes down with two dudes on him. So
he
when you got both those dudes, it's hard to find the balance of who to actually feed. Because like you said, Smith will just be open. Like you can't pass that up.
can't.
But let's keep it pushing to some NFL topics, man. I got some quick hitters I want to throw at you guys on some of these undefeated teams, these 2-0 teams, and these 0-2 teams. So I'm gonna throw a team out there, and I'm gonna give a name, and then y'all give y'all quick thoughts on what this team is doing so far in the season. And I'm gonna start with the Bengals. They're 0-2. Joe Burrow has been hurt. He just got paid a huge bag. I think he's the highest paid quarterback right now. So quick hit on the Bengals. T, what's going on in Cincinnati?
I don't think Burrow's healthy. Um, and I've said from day one, I thought the Bengals were a flash in the pan. I'm pretty sure they'll be a perennial 9, 10, 11 win team while Joe's there, but I don't really take them as a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, that's fair. The way it's looking right now, they're definitely not no Super Bowl contenders. Bryce, earlier G mentioned everybody was sleeping on the Buccaneers. They are 2-0. Baker Mayfield's balling. I heard you chirping about my man Mike Evans. He is a dog, very underrated receiver. Are we sleeping on the Buccaneers? Should we be talking about Tampa Bay more?
Yeah, a lot of hype for the NFC East this week, but the NFC South also has 3 2-0 teams, which is pretty impressive. Buccaneers are a team I think you got to watch out for, bro. They built that defense. They've been building that defense for a while now. All they needed was a signal caller. They didn't need it didn't have to be Tom Brady for the Buccaneers, right? Especially when you got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin at the receiver position. My question will be, will they be able to take pressure off of Baker Mayfield down the stretch, right? There's no more Leonard Fournette there. They don't have the security blanket tight end that Baker Mayfield seems to need to thrive. Can Mike Evans be that all season? Perhaps. I'm not buying the Buccaneers as a Super Bowl contender, but I do think they'll be a fringe playoff team this year, and I think they're going to be one of those teams that can win any game but can also lose any game.
That's a fair take. G, man, I know you're big on the Dolphins, man. They're 2-0. My question for you is Miami the best team in the AFC right now?
In the AFC, fuck no, man. If there's Patrick Mahomes, I ain't going against Patty Mahomes. I mean, I love the offense that the Dolphins are coming with, but they still missing a running game, and that's going to be one of their Achilles heels, especially come December, come November, December, and come playoff. You're always going to need a running back. I mean, it's only a matter of time before look at Waddle's hurt already, and it's only game 2, so it's just like receivers can only carry you so far. You're going to need a running game sooner or later.
That's fair. I thought you might be a little higher on the Dolphins. But that does lead me to the next topic, which is the Chiefs. You still got them as the best team in the AFC, as a lot of people do. I mean, who's going to bet against Patrick Mahomes? But if we're being honest here and living in reality, the Chiefs' offense has been struggling a little bit, and as me and Bryce know, Eric Bieniemy left Kansas City, came to Washington, and the Commanders' offense has been rolling. So that's the next topic we're about to get into here, fellas. Do the Chiefs miss Eric Bieniemy at all? Do you think that's a problem with their offense right now, or do you think it's only been 1 week with Travis Kelsey? They got a bunch of receivers. They're trying to figure everything out, and they'll get it together. T, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts? Do the Chiefs miss EB?
No, not at all. I think.
Not
I
at
mean,
all.
no, not at all. Not at all. Hey, Andy's still out there. I think what you're seeing is not having Travis Kelsey, right? Not having a dominant run game. And I think we saw last season, right? Teams have kind of figured out the best approach to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen too. Make them throw the ball underneath. Like those guys want to hit home runs. Make them take the little single. And I think that's where the Chiefs struggle a little bit when they have to nickel and dime all the way down the field. I think they don't, even when it's successful, I feel like they don't feel like their offense is working at its highest capacity. But also, Eric Bieniemy didn't take Kadarius Toney's hands with him to DC. Kadarius
Maybe
Toney,
he did.
Kadarius Toney catches those passes, that team easily scores another 10 points. So I've seen Aaron Rodgers start slow. We've seen Brady. We've seen Manning. We've seen great start slow. Pat is still probably the best quarterback in the league. So I wouldn't be concerned about him until it's like 1-4, 1-5, 0-2. That's nothing, man. Those guys, quarterbacks like that can run off 7, 8, 9. You know what I'm saying? They're asleep. So I'm not worried about them.
And to be fair, they are 1-1. So there's probably not too much to be worried about. I believe the Commanders are averaging like 27.5 points per game, and the Chiefs are at 18.5 right now. So with that said, G, do you think the Chiefs miss Eric Bieniemy at all?
No, it's just to piggyback off of Paul's. What T was saying is just the fact is the receivers got to get it together. That's what it comes down. And you say you guys said it yourself. Travis Kelsey wasn't there week 1. He was there week 2. Well, my boy Duke scored TD. So that's another one. Plug and play. Go over the yardage. There, I'm gambling way too much. But besides the point, it's like, I mean, yeah. I mean, who doesn't want a great offensive coordinator to be right there with your quarterback? But it's just one of those. It's just like tells me more about Ron Rivera. He had the same players last year, and he couldn't do nothing. Now look at them with Bieniemy. Ron. It's only a matter of time before that shit goes to waste. But now the Chiefs be all right, man. And now if they were 0-2, then maybe they're just 1-1, and they just got Chris Jones back. So this team is only a matter of time before they go off.
Yeah, that's fair. Chris Jones does play defense, and he's not going to help the offense score any points. But
Nah,
Bryce,
but
what are your
look, the defenses have been scoring though. Look at the. Oh man, let me get started with the Steelers, man. Fucking up more shit, man. I had the 3. I had the 2.5 over. Fucking
Oh,
up
we're
my
gonna
tickets.
we're gonna get to the Steelers, but Bryce, what are your thoughts? Do the Chiefs miss EB?
Yeah, I think from a play calling standpoint and play design standpoint, I don't. Right? They still got Andy Reid in the day, and shit. Pat Mahomes draws up plays his damn self. But what I think they do miss is, Eric Bieniemy is Mr. Accountability, bro. He's literally Mr. Accountability. And if you've been tracking the Commanders offseason, you know that. And one thing I've seen from the Chiefs looks like a lack of accountability, a lack of that discipline, a lack of doing your job in the moment. Yeah, T, you're right. Kadarius Toney did drop those passes. But when you got that coach that's keeping you to that standard, you may not drop them passes. You may be a little more focused, right? And I think that's what Eric Bieniemy is for any team he goes to. Now he's had a chance to show that he can also call plays as well, which just adds to his, adds to him even more. I don't think that they need him. The Chiefs need him. But early on, they may be adjusting to not having Mr. Accountability, that guy that's going to keep everybody on their toes. So we'll see how that unfolds.
Mr. Accountability, week 1, his team turned the ball over like 3 times.
Right, but they did win the game. They did win the game.
And they're playing.
In week 2, they were down 21-3 and came back and outscored the team 32-3 over the next, 22 minutes. So I mean, I'm telling you, bro, Eric Bieniemy is the type of coach that keeps players accountable, and that is hard to quantify, bro. It's very hard to quantify. That's the problem. Is we can't like he wasn't calling plays for the Chiefs, so it's hard for us to be like, oh, they miss him. Nah, they don't miss him from that standpoint, but maybe they do miss him. Like, yo, everybody done had a drill sergeant type of coach, bro. You know, everybody done had that coach that's like in your face, rah rah, making sure you stay on your shit. You lose that, you know, it's like it's like losing the disciplined parent. You know what I'm saying? If that parent's gone for a week, yeah, you still smart enough to get the good grades, bro. But maybe you didn't study as hard. Like maybe you missed some of the steps leading up to leading up to it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that could be happening with the Chiefs, and maybe they just got to adjust to that. And I'm sure they will adjust to that perfectly fine. But I don't want to take away any of Eric Bieniemy's impact on that team because I think that's what the NFL owners had done all for the last 2 years. And that's the reason he didn't get no jobs, bro, because they were taking away that man's impact. And if we seeing them worse than what they've been, maybe his impact's a little more than what folks realized.
But they're not even worse. How are they worse? We lost one game.
Bro, they stop, bro. They look like a shell of themselves on offense, bro. Like, why are we acting like they didn't? Why are we acting like they look good, bro? They didn't look good on offense, bro.
I think Bryce
stop with that, bro.
Bryce has an excellent point about EB's impact outside of play calling and having players be accountable. Andy Reid, his whole career has been portrayed as a player's coach, and as T was just saying about Coach Prime, you know that's not always the best way to go. It's not always the best way. You might need that disciplined guy like an Eric Bieniemy to hold players accountable, especially if you got a guy like Andy Reid to balance that out. And that balance and that synergy might have been why the Chiefs offense was able to click and roll as perfectly as it did for as long as it did. But I don't think they really miss EB. And I think at the end of the day, there's too much talent. Andy Reid's too good of a coach. They'll get it all together.
No, I was not peeing on air. I was
I don't
watching
know what the
something
sound
else.
was, but I had to mute that man because I didn't know what was going
It
on.
wasn't. It wasn't pee. I
I
had
don't
to
know
run
what the
some
hell
water
that
real
was. I
quick.
definitely
It
muted that man,
wasn't
bro.
pee.
It was some funny
Jesus
shit going
Christ!
on over there. All right.
I ain't started the OnlyFans page, you fuckers. You saw fucks here, man. I ain't about to do no shit like that. I ain't that wild. I ain't that spicy. Nick, get your head out the gutter.
Yo, that's wild.
Super.
Hey, so it wasn't somebody else peeing though, right, G?
I was running water. I had to run water for something. Jesus Christ. Holy jeez. Oh, man. It's G's Corner, remember?
I think y'all giving my man Eric B a little too much praise too early.
Facts.
Too early to evaluate coaching just yet, man. We'll see. I'll give you that this is the first time this team's looked explosive on offense since the ball coach. What's his name? Steve Spurrier. So I've seen this before. The team score a lot of points and everyone's all excited. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait a few weeks.
yeah,
Remember,
that's what happens.
bro.
Teams score points and people get excited. That's how it works.
Remember, also the question was, do the Chiefs miss Bieniemy? Not how much Commanders are benefiting from Bieniemy, right? The Chiefs, to me, they've come out looking real flat, bro. They've come out looking real flat. And Eric Bieniemy, the type of guy where if he's on your coaching staff, your team not about to come out too flat, or they are flat. They're not about to stay flat because he's gonna get in their faces. He gonna get.
You know what it sounds like? Bryce, it sounds like you picked the Jaguars to win last weekend, and you're mad because they didn't beat the Chiefs last weekend. It's all right.
Nah, I'm pretty sure I picked the Chiefs. I rarely go against Pat Mahomes when it comes to picking games.
So then what are you worried about then?
Nah, it's not that I'm worried about nothing. I just see them. Okay, I did draft Pat Mahomes in my fantasy, but I see them coming out. I see them coming out flat though. I see them coming out flat, bro. I don't see them playing with that same hunger early on. Now, like I said, bro, I don't think it'll take much for them to adjust. I really don't, bro. You got Pat Mahomes. He like the Kobe of quarterbacking right now. You know what I'm saying? So I think he'll adjust perfectly fine. But early on, that impact it may be something, bro. It may be something that Eric Bieniemy was bringing. They don't have no more.
I think Pat just got to take what's there and chop these guys up, nickel and dime, and then take your shots. That's all, man. Just watch our teams are playing the Chiefs. Or they could just run the ball, but they don't seem like they really want to run the ball 30 times. I think they're having a little bit of identity crisis over there, if anything. Nobody's gonna let the Chiefs or Josh Allen throw bombs all week. You know what I'm saying? All day. So Sam Howell, we gonna let you. We don't know what you can do yet, but if you start looking too good, they're gonna do the same thing to you, bro. You're gonna start having to checking down to Logan Thompson, whatever.
I hope they keep letting Sam Howell throw bombs. All right. Shout out to my boy Sam. Shout out to my boy Slinging Sammy Howell, man.
Sam look good out there for a young QB.
Nah, yeah, Sam definitely looked good. But let's keep it pushing, man, because the Commanders aren't on the docket today, but the Browns are. We got a lot to talk about with the Browns real quick, man. Nick Chubb just had a devastating injury. G alluded to it earlier, saying that might have been a dirty hit because he went low. So what were y'all's thoughts on the Nick Chubb injury real quick before we get into Deshaun Watson?
Sad. Hate to see a guy go down. And I think that's the same need too for Chubb. And this one looked like multiple ligaments, man. I'm no doctor, but that rehab, bro, to get back to elite level, I mean, this one could have impacted his career. So, I mean, I'm just hoping my man mentally is doing all right, and you know what I'm saying, and hopefully he can find a way. I don't think did Chubb ever get that big check?
Yes,
I think he
he was
did.
the last big. He's the last quarter running back to get paid a handsome amount, over 15 million a year. He's the last running back.
I'm glad he got the money, but I mean, situations like that just make the owners look like why we ever pay a running back.
And
Unfortunately,
that's what I was gonna get to was not only does this injury obviously hurt Nick Chubb in his career, which is sad in and of itself, but we've talked a lot about on this show about running backs getting paid. We've talked about Saquon, and who also suffered a ankle injury, which hopefully isn't as bad, and he should be back this season. But you know, like T just said, why would the owners pay a running back when Nick Chubb was by and large one of the best running backs in the game, and this might have been the last time we see him. Bryce, what were your thoughts on the injury?
Man, Nick Chubb, that's my dog, bro. To me, Nick Chubb, second best back in the NFL, man. So
Who's your first?
D. Henry is the first to me. All right, D. Henry might be at the end of his reign as being a top running back in my opinion, but I still give it to him as of now.
he better.
But who?
He better than McCaffrey.
Nope.
It's just one man's opinion, sir. It's just one man's opinion. All right.
He asked one man.
Nick, I give McCaffrey that third spot. I go D. Henry, Nick Chubb, Christian McCaffrey, but that's just me. And like I said, bro, it hurts, bro, because Nick Chubb, that's my dog. We've followed him since Georgia. That's my dog, bro. And I might get some flack for this, you know what I'm saying? But I watch the videos of Nick Chubb all off season. I always do, because to me, the dude is a specimen, bro. Like, you see him bench pressing 1,000 pounds. I'm sorry, squatting 1,000 pounds, you know what I'm saying? And I've seen a lot of players take that low hit. G, to your point, it's not the cleanest hit. You hate to see people go that low, but I see a lot of running backs take that hit, bro. And I've always felt like when your legs are a certain level of strong, they don't have any give, right? So it's like you're so strong that your leg is going to stay planted no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And every time I see that injury, I just see a man's leg who stayed planted instead of giving way after the hit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like his leg's so strong that it stayed planted into the ground. So it's only one way for the bone and ligament to go now. You know what I mean? And I think that's what kind of hurts. It's like, yo, did my man get punished for being too strong, bro? You know what I'm saying? And I could be off base with that, but it's just how it looked to me.
And that's a dirty hit.
And that's not the cleanest hit, bro. That's not the cleanest hit. You always want to see a player go mano, go higher, go a little higher, put that shoulder into the waist, into the gut of somebody else. But yeah, man, they chopped them. They chopped them at the knees.
Everybody says that, but I played DB and I've had to go against a running back in a hole that's 3 times my size. Pause. And bro, you go low. You tackle the legs, that's not a dirty hit though. That's not a dirty hit though. How G is gonna come on here and say that a hit that was literally after the play was over, that literally got flagged what was it? It's a clean dirty hit or whatever the hell you say. It's a clean late hit or some garbage, but a play that's completely within the rule book is somehow dirty.
Son, he hit him in his chest. My
Bro,
man
that
went
shit is
down to
kind of
his
it's kind
knee
of dirty. It's
because
kind
he
of dirty,
knew
bro.
It's
he
not dirty
couldn't
at all.
take him
It's a
down.
little
He
dirty,
knew he
bro.
couldn't take him down, so he hit him in his knee. Fuck out
Bro,
of here. That's a dirty hit, but
bro.
y'all won't say it because that's a bunch of soft dudes. But it's
If you
not.
talk,
It's
Didn't
not.
didn't the safety that hit him leave the game with a chest injury? What if his chest was already hurting? You want me to f my chest up trying to take down Nick Chubb? Like Bryce just said, we've seen this man squatting thousands of pounds on
So,
a
so
regular.
if
Like
you're hurt, if you're hurt, why the
I'm
fuck
supposed
you
to
on the
run through
field? If you're
Kimbo
hurt, why you
Slice.
on the field? If you're
He
hurt, why
what?
you on the field?
He wasn't on the field much longer, was he? G? Talking about
That's
clean late
Nah.
hit.
Okay. I'm not gonna call it. It's not. It's legal, but
it's a
it's like
dirty
yo,
hit.
when you
If
when you
any,
fake like you gonna
if
go
anything,
high,
this is
and at the
why
last
running
second you
backs
go low.
need.
That's I don't like that, bro.
bro. We
See,
know.
so let's protect running backs then. That's what the league needs to start doing. If you're not gonna pay them, protect them to play longer.
No, bro. You can't really protect.
Nah,
If,
you
if,
got to, cause that's a dirty hit. In my opinion, that's a straight dirty hit. Cause you look at
That's a
that, you
good
look at
point,
that
bro.
replay.
Maybe running backs running through the tackles. Because you're right, G. They protect the hell out of quarterbacks. If a running back is running through the tackles, maybe you shouldn't be able to just chop his legs out like that, bro.
You shouldn't,
Bro, so is he okay? But is
because they protect the offensive
G's
line because of chop hits. The defensive
G's
line
not
because
on
of
to
chop
something? Because
hits.
when a running back is
Come on
running through the
now.
hole, when he's running through the hole between the tackles, what is he taught to do? Lower his shoulder and run through you. So I'm supposed to open my chest up and get ran through? Like that's crazy.
Nah, bro. You're not supposed
Oh,
to open your
no,
chest
get
up,
the
but
fuck out the way.
you don't have to chop. You don't
That
have
get
to.
out the way, G. We're talking about a defender. My
Nah,
job is to be in the
bro,
way.
So
Minka
then
did
hit him
not
high.
wrap
Don't hit
up
him
this
low.
man's legs, bro. He
He's-
didn't wrap. He didn't try to wrap him up. He just
he
he
cut.
just ducked low and hit him in the knee. Like he didn't wrap him up. It's one thing if you go for a wrap tackle with somebody's legs, bro. That is not dirty. But when you fake like you're gonna go high and at the last second you go low and cut somebody in the knee, that shit is like borderline. Like I'm not saying it's dirty because it's legal, and anything that's legal can't necessarily be considered dirty in a sport. But maybe the running backs do need some protection from that. I think G is on to something, bro. Running through the
Bro,
tackles, bro. You
let's
shouldn't be
play
able to just
flag
chop.
football, bro. Like it's like G said, man. Like let's just play flag football then. Like
Nah,
well,
bro. Why don't you wrap up? Why don't you wrap up somebody's legs instead of trying to chop them out?
Unfortunately, when you take a guy that's the size of a tight end and put him at running back, the guys that are normal sized humans cannot wrap up. If they
Okay,
do,
but you realize you can't do that to a quarterback, though. If a quarterback is in the pocket, you cannot chop their
No.
legs, though.
but the reason for that though is because he's stationary. It's completely different if a running back, if Derrick Henry is running full speed at me, there should be no don't hit him in the leg. Like, come on now.
I don't know,
Bro,
bro.
you
I'm not saying don't because it's legal right now. I'm just saying maybe running backs. We all complain about the running back position being a thing of the past. Okay, are you gonna still love football when it's only the passing game, Rome? Hell nah. You gonna wish the running game was still there. So maybe to protect the running backs, to G's point, we got to start looking at stuff like that. Maybe when it's between the tackle runs, we need to look at protecting the running back because nobody gives a damn about protecting the running back.
You know
All y'all
why?
care about is protecting the quarterback.
You know why? Because the drop off between running back 1 and running back 2 isn't that different. Running back 2 came in and ran for 100 yards. The drop off between Pat Mahomes and whoever's behind him is life altering. Like you're going to lose.
It is, but it's also the reason for that for the quarterback is he's not laying no hit. He's standing there trying to throw the ball, looking down the field, think about whatever else. But
I don't
when a
disagree.
running back is also delivering punishment, like the running back has every opportunity to jack you up as well.
Yeah, but I'm not saying you can't tackle the running back low. I'm just saying, bro, maybe you should be required to try to wrap him up and not just take his legs out with just a hit to the legs, bro.
You definitely should be wrapping up. I agree with you on that
bro.
point. But
Did y'all see the Minka hit? Like, come on, bro. He faked like he was about to go up top. And then the last second, he went low and just went right in my man's knee, bro. I'm not saying it's not legal, bro. It's a legal hit. But, dog, like, that shit, if there was a rule in place that you have to wrap up at the legs, it would avoid tackles like that, bro. And I'm not saying it has to happen, But I like football as it's constructed, bro. I don't want to see a football where all it is the passing game because they don't want to pay no good running back. Like, I don't want to see that, bro. Maybe we need to think about protecting the running back the same way we protecting the quarterback. It was a time where the quarterback was unprotected. Like, maybe we need to just afford the same protection to a running back too.
Were they playing on grass or turf?
I don't know, but that's the type of hit, bro, where that shit ain't really matter, bro. Like, dog, bro, he went at the bro, and not only did he go at the man's knee, he kind of fake. You know how if you play football, you know this rule. You know this little move. You fake like you're gonna go high, then the last second, you dip under the dude. Right? That's the dirtiest. Man, if you do that in Oklahoma drills, bro, your coach gonna cuss you out, bro. Because that's one of the dirtiest little things you can kind of do in football. Not saying it's not legal, but it's like it's a little slimy, bro. It's a little slimy.
Most running backs
run that Minka hit in slow motion. You're gonna see what I'm talking about, bro. Like that joint wasn't all the way. That hit wasn't all the way clean, bro. I'm telling you, it wasn't. And G earlier said, "Yo, not G. Actually, you made a good point, bro. Because earlier G was like, yo, that hit from the Browns game was just as dirty as that hit from the Colorado game. And the more I think about it, bro, the more I think G was right about that, bro. That hit might be dirtier than the hit that they gave Travis Hunter. Low key, dog. Low key, it might be, bro. I don't know.
Maybe because I'm not the boldest guy here.
You know what's
no one wants to listen to me, but it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I love y'all guys too.
Outside of tight ends that catch the pass and turn around and they get their legs cut out, which is a dirty hit. You know what I'm saying? Most ball carriers would rather you take a shot at their head than take a shot at their knee. I think we know that, even with the CTE stuff, because that knee is a career ender. But most running backs typically see the guy that's about to cut them. And when I'm watching those games, I wonder why that doesn't happen more often. But one thing I notice is a lot of them leave the ground right before the moment of impact. So they get cut, but it slides right under them. And you know what I'm saying? He just had the bad timing. I don't know if you saw him, but to get hit while you were planting your leg. But
wasn't Minka hurt on the exact same play?
Yeah, Minka was hurt too.
Maybe, but that don't take away that one man's leg is fucking destroyed, bro. All right, Minka probably hurt because he probably had a little back spasm or something because he rolled into
it was a chest injury,
bro. That shit was dirty, bro. I'm just keeping it the beam, bro. And that's as somebody that when back in my football playing days, you know what I'm saying, I used to have to resort to hits like that. And I remember one time I did that to one of our star players, and I got my ass cussed out because it was like, what the hell are you doing in a drill hitting somebody like that? You know what I'm saying? Because that hit is just not, that shit ain't right, bro. That shit ain't really right, bro. I'm just keeping it a buck, bro. It's borderline. It's not dirty because it's legal. So it's hard to call it a legal hit dirty, but it ain't right. And I think running back should be protected from that.
Low man wins. That's what they teach you when you learn how to tackle. And I mean, that's how that hit gets started. But I agree with you to an extent,
bro.
Bryce.
Low man wins. That's something you talking about when two players are going to against each other head up, bro. Not a player running in from the side, dipping low from an angle that's not even head up. Like
okay, but when you're a running back, when you have the ball and you're about to get tackled, do you stand straight up or do you lower your shoulder?
No, I mean you should always lower your shoulder. I'm not
low man wins
straight up, but that's not the case. You're running between the gaps.
Right, they're not going
trying to your hole. There's a difference when you're just trying to cross the goal line, so you're going under. He's literally trying to get through the gap just to shoot it up the middle.
Minka flew in there with a borderline dirty hit, bro. I'm sorry, bro, and it's clean because it's legal. It's hard to call anything that's legal dirty. Like I hesitate to do that, but maybe running back should be protected from hits like that.
All right, real quick before we get out of here, I do want to talk about Deshaun Watson. We spent a lot of time on Nick Chubb and Minka, but Deshaun Watson, I think we've talked a lot about him, right? And his off the field struggles. He's had about 6-7 games back total now, and it's not looking too hot. What are your thoughts on Deshaun Watson? Does he need more time, or do you think he'll ever be the player that he once was? And if he can't get back to that elite level, is his contract the dumbest contract ever to be given in the NFL? And does that set people back for guaranteed contracts? T, I'm gonna start with you.
I think Deshaun. You know what's crazy is he obviously doesn't look like his old self, but I don't think he looks like crazy bad, like some people are saying. I think he's trying to be a hero out there. He doesn't have that security blanket. Amari Cooper is not D Hop. You know what I'm saying? Amari Cooper is good, but he's not D Hop. And I don't think that offense does him any favors as far as creativity or the line. And we've seen him with a bad line before. But it's still a bad contract. Unless he goes out and gets you a Super Bowl or two, it's a bad contract because for 0 Super Bowls, you could have signed me for 1/10. And you know what I'm saying? I'd at least with sound bites, I would have stayed out of trouble. But yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think the Browns will be fine. What I do want to say is I think that entire division is worse than we all thought.
Never really subscribed to that division being crazy good. I think the Ravens are going to be all right. I think I'm not too surprised at the Bengals. I expected something from the Browns, but with Chubb out, I think this puts a lot of pressure on Watson. I know Jerome Ford looked great, but he's not Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb was their offense, and I think that puts even more pressure on Deshaun, who already wasn't looking too hot. So now, if I'm not worried about the threat of a run game and it's all on Watson with the offense who, like T said, isn't very creative, it's looking tough. Bryce, what are your thoughts on Deshaun Watson?
I'll tell you this: Deshaun Watson through 2 games would look better than Joe Burrow, and I don't see nobody complaining about the money Joe Burrow just got. So, hey man, Deshaun Watson sat out a whole entire season and a half because last year he only played at little less than halfway through the season. So you sit out a year and a half at your job, might take you a little more than 7 months to get back right. You know what I mean? And I think that's all that's happening with Deshaun Watson, bro. I think as it continues, he's only going to get better. I also think that the Browns haven't made huge investments in weapons for Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? I'd have to take a better look at their offensive line and what they really got over there. But I know from a skill position base, it's not like they invested crazy in the skill positions. You know what I'm saying? So hey, maybe they just need to get him a little more talent around him. But either way, and it's not like he has a DeAndre Hopkins. No, Amari Cooper pretty good, but it's not like he's throwing a DeAndre Hopkins like he was in Houston. So I just think it's going to take a little time for Deshaun to get still knock the cobwebs off. And I think once he does, and I think he showed enough signs that he can, even last season. You go back to a couple of games, specifically the game he played against the Commanders, he was looking like his old self. I think you'll eventually have something in Deshaun Watson. Let's not forget, bro. Deshaun Watson, he's at his best when he breaks the defense down. He's at his best on broken plays, right? Plays where he's in the shotgun, scrambles around a little bit, and all of a sudden his receivers are wide open because he's bought so much time in the backfield, right? And I think that also takes time to gain the chemistry with your receiving core. You know what I'm saying? It takes time for your receivers to learn where you like them to be when those plays are breaking down. So as long as he keeps working with these receivers, I think it'll only get better. I'm not selling Deshaun Watson right now. I'm still buying Deshaun Watson. I think he's able to turn it around. Let's not forget, too, what the man was going through on a personal level. You feel me? And not to get into the allegations and all the crazy shit that was surrounding his name, because some of that stuff is wild. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not in here to defend him. But once you're going through a crazy personal situation like that, you know, mentally that takes time to overcome as well. So he's not only overcoming knocking the cobwebs off on the football field, but he's overcoming a wild personal situation. So those two things combined could be what's holding him back. Buying Deshaun Watson as a football player, I think he's able to turn it around. And I think to Rome's point, now that there's no Nick Chubb, it's either put up or shut up. If he don't turn it around, we'll know. You know what I'm saying? So he really don't got a choice at this point. But I think the Browns still got a shot to be decent team moving forward. And I don't think because Deshaun Watson's not playing well now that it ruins guaranteed contracts for NFL players moving forward.
I hope it doesn't. But I've always kind of felt like the way that they gave him the contract, a lot of the owners hoped that Watson would fail, so they could kind of just use that as a reason to not give people guaranteed money. But I do think it's going to be an uphill battle for the Browns. I think one thing I wanted to point out too about Watson was he used to play in the AFC South. The South is not the AFC North. The AFC North is a whole different animal. Those teams, even when they're bad, typically play each other really, really tough. There's no cupcake games. So, G, what are your thoughts on Watson and the Browns' future? Do you think they're turning around?
I just want to say it's not a gas show without some Lamar Jackson slander from T earlier when he said this division is cupcake. Ain't that like a good show without some Lamar
It's
Jackson
not a
slander from
cupcake
T?
division.
Exactly. I think they'll turn it around. It's like what you guys said earlier. Joe Burrow isn't playing his best, and let's be serious. This is a tough rivalry game just with the Steelers. So the defense is no joke. So you figure these guys are always going to one for one from here on out in the division. And well, look, he did beat Joe Burrow week one, and no one said anything. Now week two, he lost to what was it, George Pickens. I mean, whatever. But it's that defense. It's whoever had the better defense, and I just think the Browns. I said the Browns were going to win the division, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna stick with my guns. I think the Browns do win the division. Still.
Yeah, they've been pretty good on defense. I know Pickens got him on that. Was it a post he ran about 70 yards? But Browns have looked solid on defense. Just Deshaun got to get it together. But I do want to talk about that Lamar Jackson a little bit.
Oh, what
Slander
you
time.
got? Here we go. Here we
He
go.
couldn't help it. He couldn't help it. He said, yeah, but
He started
I do want to
it.
talk about that Lamar and call my man that Lamar Jackson. Like there's multiple of them. I do want to talk about that Lamar Jackson.
Bro,
Which Lamar Jackson variant you want to talk about, T?
you know what I'm saying? But I do want to say new offense. I like the offense. I like it a little bit better than what I seen with Greg Roman. I don't know if I like it, as efficient. You know what I'm saying? From a logical point of view, I think it's just more fun to watch. Better team running the ball, but no Odell Beckham. He's hurt again against the Bengals again, and then J.K. Dobbins down again. So for the Ravens to really go, it's going to be Lamar Jackson. He needs to have an MVP season. Otherwise, I can't imagine most teams being too afraid of Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. So, Lamar's got to be the guy that y'all believe he is. Ravens going to get up this year.
How do you think he looked last week? I think he looked very sharp in the pocket.
I will say he looks like he can deliver from the pocket. I haven't seen any wild throws yet, but
he's got to stop turning it over though. He's too much like Josh Allen. The too many turnovers.
That whole crew that came out that year, turnover machines. Even the year after that, all the young quarterbacks. I'm not even gonna hold you. I don't think there's a young quarterback other than maybe Trevor Lawrence. I don't know how many picks he's thrown, how many fumbles he has, but like most of the young quarterbacks have been turnover machines, except the guys who waited, the guys who sat and took jobs later on. We don't see Jordan Love out there throwing the ball, turning the ball over. We don't see Brock Purdy out there turning the ball.
No Sam Howell in that conversation, please. Thank you.
Sam Howell had a turnover to what he had won the first game.
I think Jordan Love had one too, man. One turnover.
Jordan Love had one.
All right.
Sam Howell.
But Sam got two. He threw 2 picks, right? Something.
Well, but
he ain't throw a pick last game.
No,
he had 1 pick in the first game on a tip ball.
Oh, it was that fumble.
He had a fumble.
He had the pick and the fumble.
But don't the guys that waited seem so much more poised than the guys that just were thrown into the fire?
Yeah, I think you're on to something with
that film study goes a long way. If you really take your time and you put on the tape and you watch how defenses scheme stuff up, that will really, really help you once you get on the field from a quarterback perspective, because you gotta know what you're doing and you gotta know how to read it to make those quick decisions.
I mean, I think another thing you get to see is another guy fail, right? Because if you got that job, most likely it's because the guy in front of you, he either failed or didn't get it done. So I think watching what somebody did wrong and watching what they did right and learning how to be a pro and not being so much new money, you know what I'm saying? That first year as a millionaire, you also got to lead your team. That's a lot. That's a lot.
I've said it a few times, and that was really my issue with Anthony Richardson and with the Colts, is that they're going to run him into the ground. You look at what the Bears organization is doing with Justin Fields. The best quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, they sit at least 1 year. They said at least 1 year, and then they come out and they're the greatest thing we've ever seen. So I'm a big believer on that. I think you need to give your quarterback some time.
Let them marinate a little bit.
Bryson, we might be seeing it with Sam Howell. He was barely, getting snaps in practice. All he had was film study. Now he's out there and he's looking a lot better than a 5th-round pick.
And I think also it's like I think there's a little less pressure too when you had some time. I think that's another big thing, man. You don't feel the need to I think like a Justin Fields, you know what I'm saying? Like you can kind of see him pressing a little bit, you know what I mean?
Big time.
Yeah, I think you alleviate some of the pressure too. But I'll also say it's not a perfect science to say that, bro, because we've seen quarterbacks come in from day one and be that dude. We've seen Joe Burrow come in and be that dude. We've seen Rome loves Justin Herbert like it's his own brother or something, you know what I mean? And we've seen him be.
I got a lot to say about the Chargers. They weren't on the docket today, but they got to get rid of Staley or whatever. That dude he's ruining Justin Herbert. He's ruining a good quarterback.
Gosh,
they have a great quarterback. They have a great quarterback in LA with the Chargers, and they got this is a Nathaniel Hackett situation. Maybe not that bad, but Staley ain't it, and the Chargers got to move on ASAP.
Nah, man, I was at work today, and we started having a football conversation. And we started talking about Justin Herbert, and I swear all I could think was my man Rome. I'm like, my man Rome would love this conversation. He would be defending the hell out of Justin Herbert.
Bro,
you are the president of the Justin Herbert fan club, all right?
Top 10 quarterback.
I'll give him top 10, but I bet you probably think he's top 3. All right, he's the president of the Justin Herbert fan club, my boy.
He said top 2.
I think Justin Herbert is a lot closer to Josh Allen than you guys are ready to admit.
Yeah, the only difference is winning. The only difference between the two is winning. All right.
And a lot of that has to do with Staley. That's what I'm saying, man. That coach got to go. How you a defensive-minded head coach and you get to the team and the defense is the worst in the league? How you have Nick or Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James, but y'all have the worst defense in the league, and you're a defensive coach? Come on now.
Wrong throwing out Aaron Rodgers compliments. Yeah, he did, Scruff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Rodgers hater. I enjoyed a lot of Rodgers' career up until he, just started leaving the Packers high and dry. Every other offseason, talking about, I might retire, I might this, I might that. Man started feeling himself too much. But yeah, anything else anybody want to get off their chest before we get out of here? No more Lamar hate.
I just want
to take Tampa for the money line. Take San Francisco for the spread, and take Seattle for the spread.
Hey, here's my final comment. Take the money line on the Commanders against the Bills at FedEx Field in a sold-out stadium. Commanders about to pull off this upset. You heard it here first.
Oh man, talk your shit, Rome.
I'm letting you know now. Josh Allen is gonna give us the rock at least 2 times. EB is gonna call them plays. We're gonna end up 2 scores. The Bills might fight back towards the end, but the Commanders are gonna get that dub.
I'm logging into my FanDuel as you speak, Rome.
He ain't doing that shit. That boy just talking out his ass.
Stop
All right, so place it.
I'm out of place.
I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear about you. Just place it.
I'm about to
now,
place
let's
it.
See. No, go ahead.
Just make sure you got my dub at the end of the season. All right, my boy.
I ain't giving you shit. You're gonna have to come and find me. You're gonna have to come up north. Fuck all that.
Hey, and how many touchdown passes Daniel Jones got right now? Less than Sam Howell?
I think 2.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that dub too. Feeling real good about that dub.
We're gonna find out.
But yeah, y'all know how we end every show, man. Sports for the culture.
Sports for the culture.
Culture.
The